then your,
The line reg,
yes. Your A is your first box and your B is your second box.
A is the first box and B is the second box?
Yes.
It's telling me that I didn't write whenever I entered. I did my own numbers, so it was on my own problem.
Right.
And
Go back and check your numbers to make sure that you entered them correctly.
I did,
Huh.
and I don't know why.
Hmm.
Wait, 0, 0, 7, 2, 4, 5. 6. What? It wanted me to not.
That's what it did for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hate this thing. Okay, I'm doing a different one. I'm just gonna
Get all those
over.
wrong.
Yes.
That's fine.
I just can't take all of this. I wish it would just at least let me say, give me a similar one like right now.
Yeah, like you're still fresh in the problem.
Yeah.
That problem reminds me of something. What are those flowers that you plant and they just keep coming back over and over again? Is it tulips that do that?
Tulips do keep coming back, yeah.
Because there's some in my mom's house that my great grandma planted when she was still alive, and they just keep coming back over and over again. And she died before I was born.
Oh,
Or, wait, no. I think she died a little after I was born. I can't remember.
oh.
One of my great-grandparents on either side of my mom's family was still alive. I can't remember which one.
Goodness.
Okay, so if I have 48.9 and it wants me to round up, is that just gonna be 49?
Where did it, how many places did it tell you to round to?
The constant at 1 decimal place.
And 48.9 was all it was in your
No,
calculator?
I have 48.9566. Da da da.
48.9566. So it's gonna be 49, because the 5 tells the 9 to go up.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't like that.
It didn't like 49?
And it didn't like 48.9 either.
Look at your data again. And that was for the second box, right? Not the first box?
The second box.
Yeah, double check your data.
Yeah, everything is cleared. Could it just be like 48.1? That would not make sense.
That would not make sense.
Mm.
Alright, looks like we're just letting me quit turned the video off. It's just sitting there. We don't have Barrett.
Looks like you're going to have to edit when you get home.
I'll just post it. They'll figure it out because they didn't come to class. It's all good.
It wanted 49.0.
Oh, and you just put 49? Oh my gosh, that sucks.
I hope you're going to enjoy having to render all of that.
I
I
mean,
know.
how much weight is the homework by the way? Again?
They're like point, I want to say they're 0.7 apiece. Let me go. That's not the right button. All right, shall we start without Dequasia or shall we wait on Dequasia?
Who's good playing it? Oh,
Let's wait just one more minute.
Okay. Let me go in and see. I want to say the homeworks are like 0.7%, less than 1% per homework.
Oh, then I don't think I'm gonna waste my time on this one.
Yeah, less than 1% per homework.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that the only one you don't have 100 on?
This was just a bad one, cause I had a 76 on this one, but all the other ones, I had, this 176 and I had 5 others that weren't 100, but I think that they were all 90 or above.
Gotcha.
Cause I didn't like wanna stress myself out if it was like, oh, like a 95 or higher and I had all those steps to go through.
Yeah. The forever problems?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know anything about problems that are forever.
Yeah.
Miss Cooper would not give any of those problems.
Can you tell me again real quick the tulip problem, like the one that you solved that one?
Yep. Hold on just a second. We hadn't done that one yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we still gotta do that one.
I thought that was the one that was the one that was next. Or was it, did you skip ahead to look at that?
I skipped ahead to, like cover up. Where's my little?
Are you really clipping out this blank space and then putting it over the phone?
Yeah, I had 2 problems and I didn't have enough room to cover it and those were together. Okay, what is this one? What's the probability? Okay, so this can still go on the same page.
At least you can halfway use your computer.
Yeah.
Miss Howell acts like she can't hardly even figure out how to work tabs.
Yeah, I love the computer. Now,
Miss
you do know that we're on the, YouTube right now. Or we will be. But it's okay.
I don't think Miss Howell watches
She doesn't watch my YouTube. If she was a true friend, she would watch my YouTube. But I don't think she's a true friend.
How dare she not give you that ad revenue?
I know, what the heck? Alright, so let's see, we did the correlation coefficient, which was number 9. Alright, so now, number 10 and number 11. And I tried to put it above this problem, but I didn't have enough room. Here, I'm gonna stick it there. Well, I tried to put it above this problem, but I didn't have enough room, so I put it up underneath the problem. So we're just gonna do this next problem, since I didn't have room. All right, number 10 and number 11 says, we just did the problem that said find the R value. So now we're doing the find the least squares regression line and use the line to make a prediction. So this is 2 separate problems on your test. One is to find the regression line and one is to use the line to make a prediction. So we have our L1, which is our X, and we have our L2, which is our Y. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go stat edit, and we're going to type in our L1 data and our L2 data. So let me come over here.
18.985 and then 982.
Yep, somebody got a bad interest rate.
Yeah.
So we are trying to determine, is there a correlation or a relationship between your credit score and your interest rates? So this person has a really low credit score and they have a really high interest rate. This person has a relatively high credit score and they have a low interest rate. So the first thing I did was I did stat, and I'm gonna come down here so I can just show it. This was number 18. I did stat edit, and I typed in my L1 and my L2 data, and then they want the equation, and we're going to do the same thing that we did to get the R value. We're going to do stat calc linear regression. But instead of this time, they didn't want the R value, they wanted the equation. So stat calc number 4, which is linear regression, and we're going to take the A value and plug it for A, and we're going to take the B value and plug it for B. So my equation is going to be y hat equals negative 0.0764x plus 61.3687. So that was going to be my equation. I took the A value and I took the B value. So my A value went for A and my B value went for B. And y'all pay attention on your test. They'll switch them up. They'll put the B value first and then the A value, or they'll make them negative instead of positive. So they'll have all the right numbers, they'll just have them in a different spot.
So anytime they ask for least square regression line,
They just want that equation.
and that's the same as a regression equation,
Correct.
and it's all
And it's also called line of best fit. It's all the same thing. They want that equation.
And whenever you're saying it's going to be different, so it's not always going to be y equals ax plus b. It will always be that. Okay.
And you're plugging in the A and you're plugging in the B that linear regression gives you. Whatever that A and whatever that B is, you're plugging that in. Now, the next thing is it wants you to make a prediction. So doing the equation is one question on the test. Making a prediction is the second question on the test. Now, there's two ways you can do it. The easiest way is to take that equation, y equals negative 0.0764x plus 61.3687, and plug in and get an answer. That's the easiest way to do it. So I can do negative 0.0764 times 723 plus 61.3687 and figure out what is my answer going to be. So you are predicting by taking that value and plugging in and getting an answer. So when I go to my calculator, I'm going to do negative 0.0764 times 723 plus 61.3687. And as long as you go a few places behind the decimal, 3 or 4 places behind the decimal, your answer is going to be close enough to a multiple choice answer. Now, the correct way to do this is to go to your y equals button, click bars, statistics, over to EQ and regression, and that's sucking over that regression equation, and then going to your table. So I did VARS, number 5, statistics, over to EQ, and then I chose regression equation. But I had to make sure that I was in y equals first. That's that copy and paste sucking over. And then I go to second table, and I type in the value that I'm trying to, I think it was 723 maybe?
Yes.
And when I type in 723, I get that same 6.1538, 6.153, I got 1538, this is 1315, just because it took it out more decimal places. But there's only gonna be one answer that's 6.1 something.
I got 6.1407 for some reason.
I may have my data in wrong. Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're close enough.
And that
So-
just gives us the equation, and then we hit enter and it solves it, okay.
Yeah. So that one is using the entire equation, sucking it over to y equals, and then going to your table. Or if you know your equation, all you're really doing is plugging in the value and working out the equation. I really don't care which one you use. So that is two different questions on your test. One question is give me the equation, and the other question is get the equation and plug in. Whether you do it on the calculator or whether you do it by hand, does not matter to me. All right, this one says use the general addition rule. The directions will say use the general addition rule. And on your formula sheet, it is the very last rule on the first page of your formula sheet. So right here is the general addition rule. It's at the very bottom of the first page of your formula sheet. On formula sheet, bottom right corner of the first page. And all we're going to do is plug and chug. So I'm just going to do number 19. So the formula says P, E or F equals P of E plus P of F minus P of E and F. So the first thing I see is that P of E is 0.6. Then I see that P of E or F is 0.85. And then finally, P of E and F is 0.05. And it says find P of F. So I plug in all the values that I was given. So I'm trying to get P of F by itself. So what do I need to do first to get P of F by itself?
Do subtract 0.6.
I'm going to clean up the back. I'm going to do 0.6 minus 0.05 is 0.55. So I have 0.55 plus P of F equals 0.85. What do I need to do now to both sides? Subtract 0.55. So P of F is going to be 0.30. P of F is going to be 0.30.
You subtracted 05 from 0.6?
Yes, because the reason I subtracted is because it was 0.6 minus 0.5 is the reason I subtracted. Do you want me to do the other one? We do the other one?
Okay, I see what you did.
You good, Courtney?
Are they always gonna give you the P of F and
This next, the other one, you're trying to find the P of E.
they're gonna give you all the numbers you need for this problem?
It's just a plug and chug.
Alright.
Yeah, find the formula on the formula sheet, plug it in, and solve for the one that's missing. They'll give you all but one. All right. Oops, I didn't move my, box with it. Okay, these are probability problems. And we have to remember that when we are doing or problems versus and problems. Or problems is when we use any shading over the total. And problems are when we do the overlap shading over the total. So if it is an or, we do any shading, any number that's shading over the total. If it's an and problem, we only do the overlap, what the two have in common over the total. So this is an and or an or. What is the probability that he died from cancer or was a current cigar smoker? Okay, because it has the word or, that means we're going to do any shading. So any of those numbers that are shaded, that goes on the top. So it's going to be 782 plus 91 plus 141 plus 7725 all over the total, and the total was given to me in the directions. Now, that first problem, number 39, did not give me totals, it just gave me data. So let's look at number 40. Number 40 gives me those totals off to the side, so don't let those totals get you in trouble. Part C, move this over so that you can see that is a part D. Okay, part C says the couple has 2 or more children under the age of 18. So 2 or more children under the age of 18, and both spouses work. It has the word and means that it is overlap shading. So what word are we going to use? What number are we going to use? 370. So for part C, it would be 370 over my total. What is my total going to be? 1,700. Do what? It does feel kind of chilly in here, doesn't it? Hold on, I'm going to copy this so we can do one more of those with the totals. Let's see if I can match everything back up. 2 more. All right, let's look at D. What is the probability for a married couple selected at random? The couple has no children, which would be here, and only the husband works, which is here. And it has an or, which means any shading. So, if we look at any shading, tell me how you would do that for the top.
Either 425 and 788. And put it over the total.
You take out the double dip.
Gotta take out the double dip. What are we double dipping on?
You get up,
702.
Good. So the 425 counted everything in that row. The 788 counted everything in the column, but you counted that 172 twice. So we had to take that 172 out. and then we're gonna put it over the 1,700. So we took out the double dip. So that ended up being 0.612. Or you could have just said, okay, I don't wanna look at the totals. So you could have said 522 plus 94 plus 172 plus 79 plus 174 over 1,700. So if you just said, I don't wanna look at the totals, I just wanna look at them individually and not count the totals, you could have done it that way. And it would have given you the same answer.
And that takes too long.
Just don't forget to take out the double dips. Alright, delete page. Okay, this one had two different on this. It had find the probability and compute conditional probabilities. And it looks like you had two conditional probabilities on your test. Anytime we see probability, probability means what makes me happy over the total. What makes me happy over the total. So, for number 29, looks like we're doing this one right now. For number 29, we have a bag of 30 tulips. 12 are red, 10 are yellow, 8 are purple. What is the probability that 2 randomly selected tulips are both red? So I want to know the probability of red and the probability of red again. So probability is what makes me happy over total. So what's the probability that the first one's red?
12 out of 30.
12 out of 30. And then I picked that tulip, I put it in my bag because they didn't say I was putting it back, so I'm assumed to be keeping it. So what's the probability that I pick up the next tulip? 11 out of 29. And I multiply those together. So when I go to my calculator, make sure you wrap it up. Second enter, second quit. So I'm gonna do 12 over 30 times 11 over 29. And all of your answers are going to be either all decimals, all fractions, all whatever. If you want the fractional answer, you're just going to do math enter. What's the probability that the first one's red and the second one is yellow? What's the probability that the first one's red? 12 out of 30. What's the probability that the next one's yellow? 10 out of 29, because that one that I put in my pocket is red, which means there's 10 left. So when I do that in my calculator, it ends up being something. Hold on, let me go over here. 0.138. What's the probability that I have a yellow then a red? Yellow then a red.
My calculator's the same.
10 out of 30. Oh, yellow and then red.
Yellow then red.
Out of 29.
It's going to be the same answer because it's commutative. All right. Let's see. Can never
That's just the number of the total.
do what now?
Part A on that one, that's just gonna be asking you for like the probability, what percentage that takes up the bag of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're just going to be doing the easier. If we choose, okay, there's 35 golf balls, 20 are Titleist, 8 are Max, whatever, 7 are Top Flights. What's the probability that 2 randomly selected golf balls are Titleist? How many Titleists are in the bag?
20,
Out of,
35.
and I put that Titleist in my bag, what I have left? Out of,
34.
yep. We get the gist on those?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're gonna have one of those. That is the one that says compute conditional probabilities number 29 and 30. Now we're doing compute probabilities 17A, so I guess